I'll let people pop in. Happy Monday! Yay! Pulling up some things that we're going to go through. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. I sure did. I didn't do much this weekend. I just kind of chilled, and it was awesome. Okay. New. Okay. Hi, thank you for joining. I'll get started in just a moment, letting people pop in. Hello. There's lots to talk about today. So, hello. Oh, the sheriff of YouTube. That's scary. Hello, Nightmare. Thank you guys for joining. I'm letting people pop in. I have a giant cup of coffee. Yes, it's the afternoon, and I'm still drinking coffee. Gruesome Newsom. Hold on. What's going on with Newsom now? Is he back? Is he back in the headlines? I'm telling you, he thinks he's going to be the president in 2024. It could be. You know what's really interesting? So everyone was talking about, Donald Trump running, and he still might. I think he's making a movie. Of course he is. Gavin Newsom's making... No, wait, you're wrong, though. Gavin Newsom, thank you, whoever said my video quality looks good and the background looks cool. I try. I am out in the country. I will be here for probably another few months, so the internet is terrible here, which is so frustrating, but I try to make do, which is why my live streams are vertical right now. I apologize, but at least it looks and sounds okay, so that's good. Gavin Newsom already made a movie. It's called Psycho. It came out, I think, in the 90s. That character is Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is Psycho incarnate. I love it. I don't love it. That's actually quite scary for everyone else. Gavin Newsom. So a lot of people are speculating we could see a Newsom versus DeSantis in 2024. Hi, I'm waiting on a client, so I'm watching while it... Cool, welcome. So a lot of people are thinking that it could possibly be a Newsom DeSantis 2024 or sometime in the future. Hence, Gavin Newsom doing political ads in Florida, telling Floridians, hey, if you want to be free, come to California. And we all know that California went so far, they were literally putting sand in skate parks during the Ponderosa, is what I call it now. But I think Gavin Newsom actually just won an award on education, which is hilarious because, here, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, the reading level. Here we go. Yeah. If you look at the reading level in California, it's absolutely ridiculous that he got an award on education. But I just pulled up an article on it, so let's look. Oh, okay. That's why he has an award. His office released a statement taking credit for proposing the highest level of funding in state history, over $128 billion. Is this for the education system? Yeah, Governor Gavin Newsom is awarded for education policy. Since taking office, Governor Newsom has prioritized funding for public education, most recently having proposed the highest level of funding in history. How hilarious is this? You know what this just screams to me? This screams teachers union. That's exactly what it screams. This doesn't scream he actually did anything good for California or for the students of California. Look at the reading level in California. I believe California is one of the states with the worst reading levels. K through 12. Yeah, more. Okay, so Gavin Newsom is getting an award for education because he proposed a budget that was the highest in history. That doesn't mean that the education system is great. That just means you're throwing a lot of money at it. The same with our homeless problem. They throw more money at homelessness than probably any other state, yet the problem keeps getting worse. So he's getting an award for education, yet half the students K through 12 in California read below their grade level reading. They read below grade level. Okay, now let's talk about. So this was really interesting. Last month, it's not interesting, actually, it's quite predictable. So last month, happy Monday. Last month, it was announced that the city. Hi, Kelly. Yay, I'm glad you caught me. You guys will love this. I don't love it because it's sad for the people that live in these cities, and this was my place that I lived in for 7 years. So last month, it was announced that the City Council of West Hollywood, California, decided, even amidst all of this news of all of this crime coming out of Los Angeles and this big controversy with George Gascon, the super progressive DA, West Hollywood City Council voted to defund their police. So they're going to be defunding their sheriff's department, phasing out 5 whole officers over a course of, I can't remember if it's a year or a few months or a few years, but they have voted to defund their police department and allocate some of those funds to an unarmed safety ambassador group. So these are guys or gals, not trying to be sexist, on bicycles, unarmed, enforcing crime. To me, I automatically think of Paul Blart Mall Cop, or a hall monitor. Remember the hall monitor? South Park, respect my authority. That's what I think of when I think of this unarmed safety ambassador group. So this was announced last month that West Hollywood was going to be shutting down, or was going to be. George Gascon's ideas are just as ignorant as he is. Of course they are. And it should be known, too, that because I lived in West Hollywood, I'm very familiar with the city council there and their politics. And the people in the West Hollywood City Council, they're not even social workers. They're safety ambassadors. They're not even social workers. I don't know what their full-time occupation is. We'll have to look into that. So, oh, by the way, I'm very familiar with this city council and how they do things and their policies. And the people that voted to defund the police are also people that have openly endorsed George Gascon. So these are people that endorse George Gascon and do not want him recalled. One of the city council members, I actually spoke to her on the phone, and this was a whole year ago, so I knew this was coming. She did tell me that they wanted to defund their police and fund more in these safety ambassadors. Anyway, long story short, so this announcement was last month. This month, it was announced that Starbucks was going to be shutting down 16 locations because of safety concerns across the U.S., and these are mostly in progressive cities. One of those cities is Los Angeles, and there's actually some leaked footage by Howard Schultz. He's the CEO of Starbucks, talking about this decision and how this is happening in a lot of progressive cities. Well, imagine my surprise when I see the list of Starbucks that are actually going to be shutting down. One of them is in West Hollywood, and it shut down yesterday. Yesterday was the last day that this Starbucks remained open, and it was shut down because of what the employees are saying and because of what the CEO is saying. It's shut down because of safety concerns. So how ironic is last month, West Hollywood decides to defund their police. This month, yesterday to be exact, was the last day that Starbucks was open in West Hollywood, and it shut down due to safety concerns. But it gets better. But before I go into that specific Starbucks, and this isn't just about people not being able to get their latte. That's not what this is about. There's clearly something bigger going on here. That's why this is a part of the conversation. And the CEO of Starbucks will lay it out pretty well. But this location, too, it's very central to West Hollywood. It's huge. I'll try to show you a picture of it in just a second. You'll be like, what? That place is unsafe? That doesn't make any sense. But welcome to California. Anyway, before we do that, I want you to hear directly. I care less about it because I like getting my coffees, lattes, frappuccinos from gas stations. That is the smartest thing to do. Go to 7-Eleven, or we have, where I'm staying, we have Wawa, we have Sheetz, and they have delicious, very cheap coffee. Like $2. But it gets interesting. Okay, so first, let's listen to, this is Howard Schultz, and this was actually leaked audio, or no, it's footage because you can see him, but you're going to listen to the audio. This is leaked audio of him actually calling out city councils and local government in Democrat-run cities. So here he is. That's not what I wanted to do. I can pull it up for you. Okay, this is the CEO of Starbucks talking about why he is shutting down 16 locations.
In my view, at the local, state, and federal level, these governments across the country and leaders, mayors and governors and city councils have abdicated their responsibility in fighting crime and addressing mental illness. But you all read the press release over the last couple of days about the fact that we are beginning to close stores that are not unprofitable. It has shocked me that one of the primary concerns that our retail partners have is personal safety. And then we heard the stories that go along with it about what happens in our bathrooms. The issue of mental illness, and the issues of homelessness, and the issues of crime. And Starbucks is a window into America. We have stores in every community, and we are facing things in which the stores were not built for. And so we're listening to our people and closing stores, and this is just the beginning. There are going to be many more.
Okay, so he's saying that there are going to be many more stores that close, and I know a lot of you are saying, we're like, who cares? It's Starbucks. They should close. You go woke, you get woke, you go broke. That's how it goes. And I do get it. But I also get what he's saying is that there literally is a Starbucks on every corner. And I will say, as corporate as it is, good afternoon. As corporate as it is, as many qualms as I have with Starbucks as a corporation, I will say, as much as I move around and as much as I have to be on the internet, one of the first things I do if I go to a new place, I'm like, where are the Starbucks? Because I need to go there and use their internet. And it's not because I want to support Starbucks. It's because I know that no matter where I go, there's going to be a Starbucks on every corner. And they're going to have good Wi-Fi. That's why on the surface, okay, it's just Starbucks closing. But it goes deeper to that. And he is right. It really is a window into America and into how things are running. Now, I'm going to read a little bit. I think you'll like this. This is a local paper in West Hollywood talking to employees in that Starbucks that shut down yesterday and sort of their perspective. And I didn't realize this, but there was another location that didn't open in West Hollywood, and I think it has to do with crime. And is this not true for every Democrat-run city right now, for every super reality and what the local politicians are pushing? Now, the reason we have local politicians, the reason the states get to make their own decisions, and then you have cities and you have counties and you have all of these things, the reason you have all of these layers of local politicians is so that they can be more in touch with the people. They can be more accountable to the people that they represent, that they can be more in tune with what their town, their city, their county, their state needs. But it seems like that's not working anymore. It doesn't matter that they're local politicians. They're incredibly out of touch with what is happening on the street. They're more married to their ideology than they are the actual needs of the people that they were elected to represent. So this is the WeHo Times. This is a local West Hollywood newspaper talking about the closing of this store. So It's really funny because they call this the big gay Starbucks because it's right in the middle of West Hollywood and it's been open for 27 years and there's just tons of people out. This is a huge location. So it says, random, I'm interested in the new pink sauce from that TikTok lady. Oh my gosh. If we can talk about that at the end. That's insane. So it says, it's sad but true. The Starbucks at 8595 Santa Monica Boulevard and the Ramada Plaza is closing July 31st after operating on the corner of Santa Monica and Westmont Drive since it first opened its double doors in 1995. I guess they have been. An employee confirms that the big gay Starbucks in West Hollywood is closing due to safety and security concerns. It's really funny, too, because what the city council is saying locally and what some people are saying locally, they're like, this is because the CEO doesn't want to unionize. This is because West Hollywood raised their minimum wage. Well, first of all, if West Hollywood raised their minimum wage, the last place that's going to hurt is a Starbucks who's corporate and who can handle that. Oh, thank you so much, Kelly, to my sweet Eva. Eva, let me see if I can get her to say hello. She's sleeping right here. Come here. Come say hello. Eva, say hello. Meow. She always looks very grumpy. Oh, so the last place that's going to be affected by a higher minimum wage is a big corporation like Starbucks. They would probably like a higher minimum wage because all those smaller coffee shops will be priced out. And then the other thing was the CEO doesn't want his employees to unionize, and that's why they're shutting these down. I don't really buy that. Let me know what you think. And especially this article where one of the employees is talking about their struggles that they're facing at this location. I don't believe that, but let me know what you think. Maybe it is. Who knows? Although a local blog, and here it talks about the minimum wage hike. It says, although a local blog is trying to pin the closure on the new minimum wage hike in West Hollywood, 16 other locations across various cities like Seattle, Los Angeles, Philly, Washington, D.C., and Portland, Oregon are also closing at the end of this month with no connection to the recent employee benefits impacting WeHo. Okay, so that slashes that theory. Barista union. You mean, oh, wait. I'm thinking of Subway. I had a friend that used to work at Subway, and they call themselves, they call themselves sandwich artists. I'm a sandwich artist. Our source says business has been steady at the WeHo location despite some shortage of foot traffic after the 24-hour fitness shut down. So in this area, a lot, and this is a prime spot in West Hollywood, a lot of businesses have shut down. And this is kind of true for a lot of super liberal cities that are very expensive to live in. And you're seeing this uptick in crime, high rent prices, and then all these businesses are leaving. So your quality of life is going down. He said it all boils down to one source says business has been steady at the WeHo location despite some shortage of foot traffic after the 24-hour fitness super sport gym closed down across the street this past November. He says it all boils down to the escalation of heated arguments and confrontation at the store, not just from people experiencing homelessness and individuals with mental health issues, but also from irate customers who are described as entitled, angry, and who are becoming more physically aggressive. Okay, that part is really interesting because I just watched a TikTok video of an employee that works at Disneyland, and they were saying how awful it's starting to get working there because the customers or the guests coming to Disneyland are more and more aggressive and more are not following the rules and are just out of control. So it's funny to hear that this Starbucks, they're kind of noticing something similar with regular customers that aren't experiencing homelessness or severe mental health issues, but they're just becoming more entitled and angry and aggressive. Interesting. So the employee says there is a higher crime rate in West Hollywood right now. Unfortunately, it is reflecting inside our stores. There's only so much we can do. The idea of getting a security guard would only be good for eyewitness accounts. We're having a lot of issues that seem to be escalating. There have been fights over things. We've had customers be rude to us, call us names. You'd be surprised how often I've been called the F word that ends in a T. And it's like, do you know what city you're in? The Starbucks employee says the closure comes strictly from corporate level. No one locally had any control over the decision. The district manager at the WeHo location found out. Okay, they're just talking about how they found out. But this is interesting too. The Santa Monica and Fairfax Starbucks, located right down the street, also closed permanently in West Hollywood this year on Friday, February 6, 2022. That location experienced a lot of crime as well and was constantly getting its windows smashed. The company opted not to renew their lease. The closing of the big gay Starbucks in West Hollywood is a huge blow to a community that is still recovering over the loss of this 24-hour fitness. The coffee chain has been a part of West Hollywood area for decades. Many may remember the 90s and early 2000s when the location was dubbed the WeHo Beach because gay men like to lay outside shirtless and work on their tans. Well, this is also sad though. This location has been home to fellowship groups who gather after local 12-step meetings. It's also home. It's also a place and a quiet space to do some 12-step work. I can't talk. So this was also a meeting ground for a lot of people after their AA meetings or their 12-step meetings. They would come and get work done. Obviously, there's no alcohol, so that's an option. So it's funny because you have people saying, why don't they just put security there? Well, the person just said unarmed security doesn't work. The only thing that helps with is identifying. And that's, I'm glad that worker said something like that because that's what they're doing in West Hollywood, right? And that's what a lot of other progressive cities want to do. They want these unarmed safety ambassadors. What is that going to help with when you're dealing with crimes involving weapons? How is that going to help? With eyewitness accounts? The same with the camera system. Okay, cameras are great. I'm all for putting cameras and having CCTV everywhere. But I think that also goes with having a well-funded, well-staffed police department. Because the cameras help with what? Identifying people after the fact? What about preventing the crime? So anyway, Biden should replace his Secret Service with Goodwill ambassadors. Yeah, you know what? When they start doing stuff like that, then I'll start taking this more seriously. But you see, in that article to me were a lot of different things. Businesses have shut down because why would you keep business somewhere that's really expensive? West Hollywood has really expensive rent if you're a business, and your employees keep getting attacked. And Los Angeles already defunded their police by $150 million in 2020. And also, they have George Gascon, who doesn't prosecute crime. So you have several problems that feed into each other. If you have a DA that's not prosecuting crime, you have people that stop reporting crime because they're like, what's the point? Even if this person gets arrested, they're going to be out literally the next day. Oh, I just saw this. Do you remember? This has also happened in West Hollywood. I actually interviewed some of the neighbors that witnessed the whole thing. This happened maybe like 10 blocks from where I was living when I lived in West Hollywood. The Lady Gaga dog incident. So Lady Gaga, her dog walker, was watching her dogs while she, I believe, and was walking them in his neighborhood at night. And the dogs were stolen and he was shot several times and basically left for dead. Well, they finally caught the person who did this. The guy is now out of jail. And this person is being charged with attempted murder. He's out of jail. And the police department is saying, oops, it was a clerical issue. And now the U.S. Marshals have a bounty of, I think, $5,000 on this person to be found. But that is how inept the criminal justice system is in Los Angeles. This person was accidentally released because of a clerical issue. Look it up. It's mind-blowing. So now the U.S. Marshals are looking for him. What should we? Google it. Oh, I wanted to read that one. Google it. Are they really U.S. Marshals or Goodwill Marshals? They're probably Goodwill Marshals. I don't think we actually have U.S. Marshals anymore. I just think we have Goodwill Marshals. There was an article that I was going to read you. Now it's not here. Google it just a little bit. Where's this story? Darn it. Did it disappear? Dog, the Goodwill Bounty Hunter. So Lia Thomas was actually trending earlier today. I can see. Yeah, today Lia Thomas was trending for two different reasons. One, I believe it was UPenn that wanted to nominate Lia Thomas as NCAA Woman of the Year. Well, thankfully, that did not go to Lia Thomas. It went to an actual woman. Personally, I miss God. That's the only way to end this. A lot of blood. So the woman who actually won, Columbia University fencer, defeats Lia Thomas for Woman of the Year. The Ivy League's nominee for NCAA Woman of the Year will be Columbia University fencer Sylvie Binder, the organization announced Monday. Binder defeated other Ivy League competitors, including University of Pennsylvania swimmer Lia Thomas. Thomas competed against men and collegiate swimming competitions before switching to female NCAA meets. The Penn swimmer took drugs to suppress testosterone for 1 year, clearing the NCAA bar to compete against women. Conference officials have named 151 college athletes as their nominees for the 2022 NCAA Women of the Year. The nominees represent student athletes from 17 sports spanning all three NCAA divisions of nominated. 53 nominees competed in Division 1, 39 Division 2, 59 Division 3. University of Kentucky swimmer Riley Gaines, who has been outspoken about the way that the NCAA has handled the Thomas situation, previously called the nomination a slap in the face. NCAA officials allegedly required Gaines to allow Thomas to hold a trophy after the race, even though the pair tied. So I believe they tied for 5th place in one race, and Lia Thomas had already won a big title, and in the picture, they gave the actual 5th place trophy to Lia, and Riley had to hold the 6th place trophy, which seems kind of silly. But I really think this was whoever was there trying to make a point that they would rather have Lia Thomas hold the 5th place trophy other than Riley. And it was kind of upsetting to her because it was like, doesn't it make more sense to have the person who didn't win yet hold the trophy? So that was just one little thing. But the fact that the University of Penn, after all this controversy, nominated Lia Thomas for Woman of the Year, I agree with Riley Gaines, was a pretty big slap in the face. But this whole story, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The part that disturbs me the most about this entire story is the fact that they had to share a locker room with Lia Thomas and none of them were warned ahead of time. So a former college swimmer who has been outspoken in her criticism of Lia Thomas said she felt extreme discomfort sharing a locker room with the transgender athlete she competed against. Has she been woman for a whole year? No. Yeah, this to me is so outrageous. I don't understand how any adult in this situation could think this is okay. They shared a freaking locker room and were not warned ahead of time. And Lia Thomas, by the way, still dates women and still has all the parts. Riley Gaines, who swam competitively for the University of Kentucky, told Tucker Carlson that she was uncomfortable changing in the same locker room as someone with different parts and accused organizers of failing to disclose the fact that Thomas would be using the women's facilities. That's not something we were forewarned about, which I don't think is right in any means. Changing in a locker room with someone who has different parts. The college athlete who graduated this year has repeatedly knocked Thomas for participation in women's swimming, saying Thomas, who is born male, has an unfair biological advantage. So not only were we forced to race against a male, said Riley Gaines, we were forced to change in the locker room with one. Then we're sitting there not even knowing who to talk to, who to complain to, because this all kind of happened behind the scenes very discreetly. Gaines said that the National Collegiate Athletic Association failed to protect the integrity of women's sports. In March, Gaines tied with Thomas for 5th place in the 200-meter freestyle NCAA championship and has loudly criticized Thomas since then. Earlier this month, Gaines slammed the University of Pennsylvania for nominating Thomas for the National Collegiate Association's 2022 Woman of the Year. I agree with you. I think Lia is a gay. No, not even a gay man. Lia likes women. A gay guy who likes women. Oh, dang. Okay, we're going to read this next. Oh my, I'm sorry. I'm seeing things. Wait. Oh, I need to go back. Hold on, you guys. Okay. So this story also came out today. And here's the thing. When we talk about these things, there are a lot of people that are actually transgender and have actual gender dysphoria. And I have no issue with anyone like that. The thing is, the politicians that we have right now are making policies that allow for people, bad actors, to really take advantage of these loopholes. And this story is pretty yuck. So I apologize, but a transgender cheerleader who was born a biological male was kicked out of a Texas cheerleading camp and given a criminal citation for allegedly choking a female teammate. Well, guys, I'm officially retired as a cheerleader as of last night at 5:30 a.m. A girl on the team who is being very disrespectful and told me that I am a man with a penis and that guys should not be on the team, the cheerleader Avery Chanel Medlock wrote on Facebook last week. I stood up for myself, and she called her mom and dad because she was scared because I stood up for myself. Her father said, she still has testosterone and a penis, and I will kill anyone who comes after my daughter. Isn't that what a father is supposed to do? The incident took place at Ranger College, where the police responded to a dispute between members of the team, according to Facebook posts and team members. Medlock alleges that a teammate made transphobic and racist remarks before the altercation, with a cell phone video showing the cheerleader hiding in a room from the agitated Medlock. The father of the girl whom Medlock allegedly choked was also called to the scene by his daughter and has begun pushing for police to release body camera and CCTV footage of the incident. I ask you what you would have done when receiving a phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning from your daughter stating that they had locked themselves in the room with other girls, the father, Mike Jones, wrote on Facebook. At no time did I ever say anything about your race or your gender. Medlock asserts that the physical confrontation with the other cheerleader was actually a joke, but police on the scene gave the former cheerleader a criminal citation for assault and removed Medlock from campus. The incident comes as a debate continues to rage about transgender participation in female athletes. most recently in the case of University of Pennsylvania swimmer Lia Thomas. And here we are. And this is the door that a lot of these policies open. It's really, I was listening to something last night that was talking about women in the restroom and how that is such a vulnerable place. Oh, I believe this was... It was a criminal investigator talking about 5 things that they themselves would never do. And they talked about when you're in the bathroom, never letting your guard down, because the bathroom is typical. And this had nothing to do with anyone who is trans or that conversation at all. That's what we're talking about. This was, this is the cheerleader who got kicked out of camp for allegedly choking a female. Is it me? No, Kelly, refresh. But this is what you open the door to. It's a... Do you hear that? It just thundered. Blah. Anyway, so this private investigator was saying this wasn't even about the trans issue at all. This is just about being a woman and being alert. And she was saying, never let your guard down when you're in the bathroom. This is a place where women tend to let their guard down and they feel very safe. And this is sort of a vulnerable place. And they were like, predators know this. So they tend to, that's one of the areas where they will prey upon women because they know that their guard is down. And they think that delicate sound of thunder, and they think that this is a good way to prey upon women. And this was a private investigator that wasn't even a part of this trans conversation. But this is the thing that I don't understand by a lot of these individuals. Like, we could have middle ground. Okay, let's make a trans bathroom, or let's make a trans league, or let's do this. That's not enough for them. They actually, and this isn't the entire trans community. This is a few people. They don't just want their own bathroom. They want access to the women's bathroom. That's what really bothers me. They're not okay with just having a private bathroom or private area. They want access to women's spaces. And what's really frustrating is, why are we doing this? Why are we allowing biological men into women's spaces? Well, the argument is because they feel uncomfortable going to them using the male restroom. It's an issue of comfort for the individual who is trans, right? And again, this isn't everyone that is trans. This is people like Lia Thomas. But we are putting this male who wants to identify as female and have access to women's spaces, we're putting their feelings of comfort over all of these women. So why is their comfort more important than women? So you have Lia Thomas walking around the bathroom and all these women are uncomfortable, yet Lia Thomas's comfort trumps all of those women. How is that okay? And that's where this argument comes from. We're saying this is about safety and this is about comfort, yet you have all of these women saying, I don't feel safe and I feel uncomfortable. And they're told to shut up and take it because Lia's comfort trumps all of their comfort. We couldn't come to an equal solution. And what really bothers me about what Riley Gaines said is it doesn't sound like anyone ever actually sat down with these girls and said, hey, just a heads up, this is going to be in your bathroom. So if you don't feel comfortable, these are your options. The teachers could have said, this is something that's new. We're figuring it out. So we want everyone's feedback. We want everyone to feel comfortable. That doesn't seem like how it went. It seems like this was just shoved on everyone and they were just told to shut up and deal with it. And that story with the cheerleader is developing, so that'll be interesting. There's not a whole lot of information right now, and they're still using allegedly, so it'll be really interesting to see what happens when more information comes out about that. Hello. Ooh, it's gonna storm. I saw this while I was talking about Lia Thomas and thought I would kind of read through this for you, or read through this with you. If you want, we can talk about the pink sauce. Oh, I have one more thing, then we can talk about the pink sauce. This pink sauce is so funny to me. This is like consumerism at its. This is consumerism eating itself, is what the pink sauce situation is. But do you guys remember Brianna Kupfer? This is back to LA again. I don't mean to keep talking about LA, but I just saw this story pop up, pink poison. I just saw this story popped up, and I know that we talked about her a lot. And this story was really, really heartbreaking for me. I don't know why, but this one just, certain stories just hit you a little differently. And I remember the day that George Gascon got elected and that sinking feeling I felt. And I remember seeing all of the rhetoric from all of the politicians in Los Angeles that just seemed to be pro-criminal justice reform, which there's nothing wrong with criminal justice reform, but the way that they do it does not put emphasis on public safety. It makes the public less safe. So that's not cool. Criminal justice reform should make everybody more safe. But anyway, Brianna Kupfer was the 24-year-old girl that was stabbed to death by a mentally ill homeless person, and it was a completely random attack. She was working, but there's a bit of an update with this story. I don't know if it's good or not, but here, we'll read it together. So it says, the heartbroken father of UCLA graduate student brutally slaughtered in a random daylight attack in Los Angeles is outraged that the autopsy report containing graphic details of her savage offing was released to the press. You have people who don't really care about humanity, and for whatever reason, selfish gain, or for whatever reason, they act without a conscience. Brianna Kupfer was 24 years old, stabbed to death January 13th while working at an upscale furniture store, Croft House, by career criminal Sean Laval Smith, who may have targeted her because she was alone in a store. Everybody knows she was brutally murdered. I don't know why people would need to know more than that. It's glorifying a horrible tragedy for entertainment. The 34-page autopsy report by the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner coroner details her gruesome injuries. So she was stabbed 26 times. Autopsy reports were public record per California law, according to a spokesperson. Kupfer said that he and his family have intentionally avoided watching or reading any media coverage about the autopsy. We don't want to know at this point. It's too difficult and too triggering. I understand that completely. Smith, 31, allegedly strolled into Brianna Kupfer's store at about 2:30 p.m. and she immediately texted her manager to say that the man was giving her a bad vibe. Minutes later, she was not alive. Smith fled but was arrested 6 days later in Pasadena. Smith has an extensive criminal record spanning both coasts and has an active warrant for assaulting a police officer at the time of the murder. Authorities are currently awaiting the results of Smith's mental health evaluation to proceed with trial. I understand what the father is saying. This was very brutal, what happened to her, and the reason it got so much media attention was because of the random nature and the tragic nature of what happened, and that this was a really good kid who was in college, working a job in the middle of the day and was attacked randomly. And it does seem, if you look at what was happening with this individual, I think he was walking down the street going in several stores and realized this is a girl who was alone in the store and attacked her, and that seems to be why he did. Any updates on the Gascon recall? I'll look at that right now. But this is what I don't understand about news outlets is they will just jump on things for clicks, and it is really painful. And I can understand how the family, they're like, okay, we know what happened. We know how bad it is. We don't need to go into all the details right now. It happened. Everyone knows. Why do you need all the gory details? And so I understand. And the media sometimes, They don't think that there's actual people at the other end of the stories, and they just go for clicks and views and maximum amount of that possible, and they forget that there's actual people on the other end of a lot of these stories. That's my problem with, we'll see in a little bit, Kelly. That's my problem with a lot of news organizations that use the face of the mass shooters when they don't need them. There's sometimes that you do need the face if the person is still out at large, but when that person is not out at large, they plaster the face of the individual everywhere. They talk about the individual's history, and I do think it's important to understand a little bit of what's going on in people's lives before they make these decisions, to know what the warning signs are and to put an emphasis. I do think a lot of people have a lot of mental issues, and a lot of them have been exasperated recently. Going back to the Disney worker and the Starbucks employee saying that just regular people seem to be a lot more aggressive and combative recently, making retail really difficult, or working in places like this extremely difficult. So I do think that's important. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for the Daily Wire. They made a point a long time ago, anytime there's a mass shooting, they will not show the picture of the individual unless that person is at large and needs to be caught. This is very sad. And something else I think that's important to point out on that story was, as soon as that individual came in, it seems like she got a bad feeling and texted someone. Always trust your instinct. And I've heard this recently too, because I'm a really nice person. I almost feel like I owe people my niceness, and I have to get over that. I think I'm from the South. I'm a female. It's kind of how we're raised. And I feel like I just have to be super nice and super polite to everyone, which is a really good thing. But it's also okay if you're getting a bad feeling from someone. You don't have to be nice. You don't have to be polite. You don't have to stay there. Get the heck out, or get away from that person, or say no thank you. I don't know what Brianna could have done in that situation. She was absolutely alone, but she did have an instinct, and her instinct was correct. I don't think there are any. Let's see if there's any update with the... Trying to see if there's an update with the recall George Gascon. 2 weeks. I believe they're still counting. Okay, here's the latest update. So they're still counting to make sure all of the votes or all of the signatures are verified. So I'll read you the little update. And then, so basically what happens when there's a recall, people go out and they get signatures, and you have to get a certain amount of signatures to kick off the election. So if they don't get enough signatures, there's no recall. If they do get enough signatures, they can kick off an election. And on that ballot, it will say, do you want to recall George Gascon? Yes or no. If they get 50 plus 1 yeses, he's bye-bye. And then I believe it's the mayor appoints whoever they want to take over his position. So right now they gathered more than enough signatures than they need to kick off an election, but the signatures have to be valid. So they have to go through and count them and make sure they're valid. They have to make sure the person is a registered voter in Los Angeles. They have to make sure, your name matches your address, or you don't have 2 signatures, all of that jazz. So monitors, so I guess they were trying to get monitors to observe this process. So it says monitors will not be allowed to view the vote counting process to recall District Attorney George Gascon because the County of Los Angeles does not view the event as an election. However, opponents insist that the law clearly states that the recall is an election and that process should be public. Interesting. So they're trying to ban people from watching them counting the votes to make sure that they're valid. Support from Governor Gavin Newsom and Democratic politicians helped usher far-left Gascon into office 2 years ago, and the recall campaign wants to make sure voter petitions are accurately counted to place the measure on the ballot. Okay, bye. We are concerned about it, and we have attorneys looking at it. LAPD Sergeant Dennis Zine, one of the campaign organizers, said of the petition counting, if enough valid signatures were submitted and recall makes a ballot, voters will be asked 2 questions: whether they would like to recall Gascon and select a successor from the list of names. A reference to monitor. So what they're counting right now, that's basically an update. They're still counting to make sure the signatures are valid, and people wanted monitors to go in there and observe them counting, and they are trying to block that. So hopefully there's plenty of business. I mean, San Francisco gives me hope, because San Francisco is, from what I've heard, a very corrupt government, a very corrupt local government, and the fact that theirs went all the way through gives me a little bit of hope. Pink sauce? Okay, hold on. Clown Man. Is Clown Man leaving? The pink sauce. Oh yeah, I was watching videos on this on TikTok. I couldn't not watch videos on this. This is so fascinating. This is what happens with consumerism. You end up buying. Kelly, are you leaving? This is what happens when you end up buying just poison. Okay, let's pink sauce. You can't make food products that way. Hold on. Oh man. What article should I? No, Clown Man is. Oh yeah, there's Jennifer. Hi Jennifer. Okay. I'm trying to figure out which article I should read. Okay, this one's entitled "The Pink Sauce Drama Continues." They accused me of poisoning the nation. We're reading this one. Delilah? Oh, Delish. Oh, okay, Delish. We're reading from Delish. Oh my goodness. The infamous pink sauce saga continues. We breathed a sigh of relief when pink sauce creator Chef Pie optimistically said in a video that her viral sauce was currently in lab testing and was closer to being pitched to stores. Well now, roughly 1 week after the reveal, a clip from a live stream has drawn criticism due to the Miami-based chef's comments about FDA approval. So basically this chef, she goes by Chef Pie on Instagram, has a bit of an Instagram following, and she developed this dipping sauce called pink sauce, and it's bright pink, and apparently it has its color from adding dragon fruit or something. Let me see if I can show you this picture. Oh, it's gonna... It looks like something that should not be ingested. This is the pink sauce. It's the creator. So it looks a little bit sus. And what was happening with the pink sauce is that people were ordering it from her when she first announced it, and it was coming... First of all, it's supposed to have milk in it, and it was coming unrefrigerated. A lot of the bottles were busted. The labels on the bottle and the ingredients list had mispronounced words. The coloring was different in each bottle that people were getting. The coloring never stayed consistent. And then what really had people worried is when they started calling her out saying, hey, is this even FDA approved? She made this video. Listen to what she's saying.
Your health. I never said approved What do you mean FDA approved? I don't sell medical products. The pink sauce is not a medical product. The pink sauce don't contribute to your health. I never said that. Did I?
So apparently she doesn't know. This is Chef Pie, who I do not think is a legitimate chef. Chef Pie does not understand what the F in FDA stands for. It's the Food and Drug Administration. And people are legit paying, I believe, like $20 to $24 for this sauce. And it's a trend. It's food. What is FDA? I'm not selling a health product. But it's a trend on TikTok where people are buying the sauce and tasting it all on TikTok and telling their followings all about it. What do you mean FDA approved? I don't sell medical products. Chef Pie explained the pink sauce is not a medical product. The pink sauce don't contribute to your health. I've never said that, did I? Once again, people were left a bit confused. The Twitter thread for the clip has nearly 2,000 comments. Users on Twitter offered their thoughts on products that are FDA approved versus products that follow FDA guidelines. Commenters also pointed out that the F in FDA stands for food. While speaking with Vice's Motherboard, Chef Pie addressed FDA guidelines and also spoke on a handful of other topics, including her label snafu. The effing DA federal came to my business yesterday. I 100% am compliant. I'm abiding with the FDA. I'm not in trouble. I'm not going to jail. No one can accuse the pink sauce of anything going forward. In regards to the previous pink sauce label, which inaccurately stated that the bottle had 444 servings, Chef Pie reiterated that is a mistake that she did not make. It's natural food. It's natural coloring, you know? So beat me down because I don't want to poison the nation. They accused me of poisoning the nation. They ridiculed Jesus. So who among us? Oh my gosh. Most recently... exploding bottles. Oh no, it was sent. She got it right, but it was sent. There was one video I watched where the user got a pink sauce and it didn't even have the front label on it. The front label was just not there. Most recently, an email was sent to pink sauce supporters explaining that there would be shipping delays as they work to overcome all issues stemming from the recent allegations about food safety. Motherboard reports the Barbie pink colored sauce will now come with terms and conditions that provide details on refrigeration and a return and exchange policy. So it says refrigerate. This is what people were saying too, because milk is on the product list, but it's being sent unrefrigerated. This is so fun. Even with all of this information, people are still paying $24 for this sauce and trying it on TikTok. I guess it's better than Tide Pods. I don't know, but I would never. You couldn't pay me to try this sauce, let alone pay $20 to get it delivered to me. No, thank you. So that's the pink sauce. Actually, I have something else that we could listen to, and some preservatives. Well, that's what people are saying. They're like, there's no way that she can have the amount of preservatives that she needs because there's really nothing cheaper to throw some pink dye in your ranch. Exactly. Jennifer got it right. Just take your ranch and put some pink dye in it, and now you have pink sauce, and it was free. There you go. And it's funny too because most people do say, well, some people it has smelled kind of rotten, but a lot of people do say it almost just tastes like bland ranch. So I think that's a perfect idea. Just take your ranch and put some dye in it. Boom, you have pink sauce. Get a container, get like an old, I don't know, some kind of sauce bottle and just write pink sauce on it. And there you go. It was funny too because I'm watching. Do you think Pelosi will go to Taiwan? No, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't really think so. I heard it tastes like ranch on TikTok. Yeah, that's what I hear. People are like, okay, it tastes like ranch, I guess. I thought she was supposed to. Well, apparently, let's see. She was threatened. I don't know. Okay, so it looks like I was wrong. She is expected to visit. I didn't think Nancy Pelosi set to visit Taiwan, triggering dire warning from Chinese media personality. So they're saying they're going to shoot her down, I believe. After rampant speculation, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will be visiting. Okay, I was wrong. Will be visiting Taiwan and meeting with government officials this week, according to reports. And the former editor of a Chinese state-run publication has issued a dire warning. Pew pew. Did you know? You might have seen a video where I talked about this, but did you know that if you are texting, if you have an iPhone and you're texting someone else with an iPhone and you just simply type out pew pew, P-E-W, P-E-W, when you open the text message, your phone vibrates and lasers shoot out of the text message. Well, certain details. Okay, so this try it. It's pretty cool. If you text just the words pew pew to if you have an iPhone and they have an iPhone and you text just that, test it out today. When the person opens the message and when it sends, lasers come out of the text message and your phone vibrates. It's pretty cool. Okay, while certain details remain up in the air, Pelosi is expected to go to Taiwan following her current stop in Singapore. She is reported to have planned meetings with Taiwanese officials and others on Tuesday evening and Wednesday. She's definitely coming, a person familiar with the situation told Wall Street Journal. The only variable is whether she spends the night in Taipei. Pelosi would be the first House Speaker to visit Taiwan since Newt Gingrich in 1997. Thank you so much, Kelly. Pew, pew, pew. Thank you, Kelly. Yes, if you have an iPhone, text it. You can also text, like, if you do happy birthday, birthday balloons will come down. If you do happy new year, I can't remember what it is. I think it's like maybe fireworks. You can even do happy Chinese New Year, since we're talking about China. So China had issued stern warnings against this visit. China will take resolute and strong measures to defend the sovereignty and territorial integrity. And for what measures exactly we will take, let's wait and see if she dares making the visit. Wow. A spokesperson for China's foreign ministry said about the possibility of Pelosi going to Taiwan. Chinese media personality Hu Zhen, I think that's how you say it, responded to the news with a warning of what could follow. Let her go to Taiwan, but pray before departure. Wish herself a safe journey and wish herself not to be defined by history as a sinner who starts a spiral of escalation process, expanding military frictions to a large-scale war in the Taiwan Strait. Wow. So the same person, this is where it came from. The same person previously suggested that China shoot down Pelosi's plane if she goes to Taiwan. Prior to Pelosi's departure for Asia, the Pentagon moved the USS Ronald Reagan and a strike group from Singapore to the South China Sea, although the aircraft carrier has been there prior to its short stay in Singapore. Pelosi began her trip with a stop in Singapore, tweeting photos from her stop there. The House Speaker also had plans to visit Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea, and Japan. Pelosi is traveling with a House delegation that includes Democrat reps Gregory Meeks, Susan Delbene, Raha Krishnamurthy, and Andy Kim. That was a hard name to read. So it looks like she is. I was wrong. I didn't think she would actually go. But it looks like, according to... Yeah, nice try. I don't know if you notice, but if I'm reading things, sometimes I will purposefully skip over the names if I can't pronounce them. But I was already too far in that I had to just keep going. But I will. I'll purposely not say the names sometimes because I can't pronounce them. But I got busted that time. I was already too far in. Oh, I wanted to play this audio for you guys because hold on, I'm going to pull this up. I want to play this audio for you guys. So this was actually a TikTok. How long is it? It's a minute long. And this is by a leftist. And she explains why leftists are so angry. And you know what? What's so interesting to me also, sometimes I make these connections and maybe it's not really a connection to be made. But I find what she's saying really interesting. I do agree. I think that a lot of leftists are really angry. And what's crazy is I have lived in a lot of places in the United States, and it's really the left in our media and Hollywood that tells you that it's the Republicans or conservatives that are bad, that paints them as bigots and people that are angry and unaccepting and things of that nature, when really it's actually the leftists. And she perfectly points that out. And it's funny too, because we were just talking about West Hollywood. And if you remember when I was reading that story about the Starbucks and the employees saying, it's not just the people that are experiencing homelessness or the people that are clearly severely mentally ill. It's not just those individuals that are giving us a hard time. It's regular people that are coming in, and it just seems like they're escalating. They're more rude, they're more agitated, they're more demanding. And West Hollywood is one of the most liberal cities in the whole US. It was actually founded in 1984 to be that's why they jokingly called it the big gay Starbucks, because it was found to be a city that is very accepting. That's why the city was founded. And I remember living there because I lived in West Hollywood before I came here to Virginia. And I remember experiencing that. It just, the Ponderosa, that's what I call it now. The Ponderosa really broke a lot of people there. These are super liberal people. So they were like, do I need to wear 5 masks? I will wear 5 masks. I will wear gloves outside. And every time you walked outside, you felt tense. Everyone felt so tense. I even got cussed out once in West Hollywood because I was on a street corner in a residential area. So these were just apartment buildings around me. A street corner outside by myself, getting ready to cross the crosswalk, and I wasn't wearing a mask. And 2 men walked behind me. I moved to give them adequate space. And one of the guys got in my face, put his middle finger in my face, and started cussing me out. And it's just people were so on edge. But going back to my original point, I've lived in super liberal cities, and right now I'm in probably a very red area, smaller town, more blue collar. And the people here are so nice. They're so nice. They're so laid back. They're so accepting. Everyone is super friendly. And some people wear masks and some people don't. And guess what? No one cares. If you want to wear it, do it. That's cool. And if I don't want to wear it, that's cool too. But I just find it really interesting that when I go to the smaller towns that are probably more red towns or more red states, the people just seem nicer, happier, and more at ease than in some of these super blue areas. And this girl describes herself as a leftist, and she's going to give you her theory as to why they're so angry. I thought she was really articulate. Let me know what you think.
People ask me all the time why I think people on the left are angry. You know, coming from the left. I guess I'm a fairly good source to ask. There's a lot of factors at play. Cognitive dissonance, one, which if you don't know, that's the discomfort one feels from having contradicting thoughts or beliefs. Also, every issue on the left is made into an emotionally charged issue. It's all a form of some type of injustice. And if you actually believe that there's all these different injustices occurring in the world, you're going to be angry about it. But also look at the content that people are pushing out. I mean, most of the time when I see like super woke creators, they're yelling, they're screaming, they're angry, they're emotionally charged. Now imagine being locked in an algorithm on every platform, giving you all of that content. Imagine your friends, everyone in your life, being angry all the time about things that are going on in the world. You're going to be angry. And then add on top of that, all the people dealing with a lot of emotional turmoil, and they might not know where to put that, so they're pushing it into politics. Just my 2 cents.
Oh, this was a girl that describes herself as a leftist, and she's just saying why she thinks that leftists are so angry all the time. And she says that a lot of the issues that they care about are very emotionally charged, and I think that's true. She's saying that they're constantly being bombarded with perceived injustices in the world. And I've actually heard someone say that it's like to be a leftist, you constantly have to point out injustice everywhere. You constantly have to have a grievance with everything. And then she gave a really good point, which I never even thought of before. Yeah, she's very perspective, I think. I was surprised. I thought they were angry all the time because they were on meth. Well, that too. The ones that aren't on meth. She also brings up the point where, you know, the algorithms on social media sites, they give you things that you look at or things that you've looked at in the past or things that you're interested in. So not only are you emotionally charged and looking for grievances every day, now your algorithm is feeding you back all of that all day long, so it just further fuels what you're already feeling. She also brings up that, and I've noticed this myself, that a lot of people who are very much on the left, and I think it's because they get at them emotionally, these are people that are dealing with a lot of emotional issues already and don't know where to place all of this stuff, and all of a sudden politicians come in and say, this is why you're unhappy, because of this injustice, and you should be mad about it. And I think the reason that a lot of Republicans are maybe a bit happier or seem a bit more well-adjusted is because Republicans, conservatives, value personal responsibility. They value pulling yourself up from your bootstraps. They value if something's wrong in your life, you have the ability to fix it. You can fix it. They value personal responsibility, whereas leftists tend to value, oh, well, other people can fix my problems, or it's other people's fault that I have these problems. And I think that's really sad, actually. Pink sauce drama. All right, I think that's everything. It is sad because I actually have friends, like really good friends. We're not even friends anymore, which is, to me, also really sad. Any plans to start your own Discord discussion group? That would actually be really fun. Let me write that down because I'm thinking of ways to not switch it up. Expand? I don't know what the correct... Hold on. Let me just write that down and look into it because I'm still not like super familiar with Discord, but I think that would be fun. I've heard of it several times, so I'll look into that today. Thank you. Oh, I have friends that are leftists, and that appears to be what it is. Like, we're so different because if something is wrong in my life, I might get sad for a day or two. I think it's important to feel your feelings and allow yourself to be sad for a little bit, but then you get back up and you say, okay, how am I going to solve this problem? How am I going to improve my situation? I've always saw myself as being responsible for my life. And I think that does lead to happiness when you look at yourself as I can be the solution to my unhappiness. I can be the solution to my issues. If there's a problem, I can fix it. And I think it's nice to have that perspective. If you think that injustice is going to happen to you no matter what, if you think that all of the problems are by someone else and the only one that has the control to fix that for you is the government, that is a very unhappy way to live. And it sucks. Anyway, I actually had a friend. It was so funny. She's super young. She's like, I think she's 20 and she's a nursing student. Anyway, she was at work and she was complaining to me. And she was saying, oh, I have to be here for 30 more minutes or something like that. And she was so mad, like texting me. And I was like, well, it's just 30 minutes. And she's like, so you're on their side? I'm like, no, I'm trying to make you feel better. It's just 30 minutes. And then it'll be over and you made more money and you're done with work and it's all over. Yeah, 30. Well, she's super young. And I don't know. But what she wanted, I've had friends like this in the past. What she wanted me to do was join her in her pity party instead of saying, well, it's just 30 minutes, you'll be fine. But some people do. Sometimes it's like, I just want you to join in my pity party and tell me how awful the world is. But I never do that. Sometimes it pisses people off. But it was funny. Anyway, thank you guys for joining. She wanted your validation. Yeah. She wanted her validation. If I let my hair down, does it fall over? I don't think so. All right. Thank you, guys. It's hard to be positive when we live in a world full of negative. Yeah. Nurse needs a nurse. Okay, bye. Bye, Kelly. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I had fun today, and I'll be back probably tomorrow at 2 p.m. I'll be back. So, yes, take care. Sorry I wasn't here last week. My schedule was a little all over the place. So, also, and I started going to the gym again. Oh, gosh. I've been every day, which is good. Yes, thank you so much. Love you guys. Have a really great rest of your Monday. Hopefully everyone has a great week. And I will see you later. Bye. Good night. My guns. I don't even have any guns. Look how pathetic that is. That's why I need to go to the gym. I'm just a potato right now. Just kidding. I'm not a potato. I need to unpotato myself. All right, later.